Good morning, everyone. We're ready to open the meeting of the Board of Assessors of August 9th, 2023. Our first order of business is approval of the previous meeting's minutes. Second. A motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Motion passed. Nick, the agenda item is personal property damage. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, everybody. Happy August. Several car bills. We have 8 car bills, and those of 8 car bills, 7 of them were changes and 1 was no change. And the one that's no change is motorcycle. The one of reference is the very first one. This is 2015. The reason it's such an issue, it's a reference is because the state value is extremely high. Almost like it's a brand new car for some reason. It's 2015 car, so but 8 years old, they had to pay $34,250, which is interesting. But because the NADA started out at like $15,000-$16,000, we reduced it down to $9,925 due to the NADA values that are nowhere near close to the state value. The mileage adjustment was actually minor. Just want you guys to see, understand why I put $34,000 down to $9,900. The rest of them were fairly basic. Number 6 was a rebuilt title, so it dropped a lot. And the Chevy Express van has very high mileage on it, so most of them very high mileage. And on day 3, and these was later. Excuse me. These was returns. Others return got lost in the mail. They were actually sent it out on time. They got lost in the mail 2023, and they're still stuck in limbo somewhere in the back. To the thing. So I had public email me these so we can get them on the agenda. It's roughly about the condition of I just know about $800,000, so we will get or get on Social Security. On page 4, this one looks like it's a big drop, but it's actually not. It's a import correction, and the value is roughly the same. But the difference is this Freeport reduction in the value. So Freeport, it just looks like it's a lot of larger. The value change is minimal, but the Freeport reduction is what makes it look big. If that makes sense, for Tigers for the partners. And Glamorous Salons, it was the estimated count, and we corrected it and down because she went from a full-on business salon to down to a suite in a rental suite unit. So the value dropped drastically. That was that's all I had.
We approve this personal property.
Second. For motion second, any discussion? All in favor, aye. Aye. Thank you. Yes. No, we hope that we get it eventually because they will answer us. Okay. Nick is a very popular guy.
Good morning. Good morning. Thank you. All right. Now we look at the real property values plus changes. And I'm going to start on page 5. As you know, bills have been rolling in, and I grabbed a couple that I needed to go ahead and change right away so that when the bills come out, it has the new value on it. So the very first one on page 5, they had a 299 C value for 2022. So it, 299 C, and they get it for 3 years, and it went out without the 299 C on this person worldwide. So it is only a difference of $13,000 for 2024. explain it to people that if they have a hearing in 23, they think they're giving it for 23, 24, 5. I said, okay, 22. Sorry. On page 6, they filed an appeal. They came in with their notice where their value is actually 400 and some thousand, and it jumped to 972. It turns out that there was an error in their citing one of the data collectors for somebody put in the information. Instead of typing 1, they typed in 100, and it multiplied their citing improvement value 400. So actually 394, 800. So I wanted to get that if you wanted to build at 85. So I went ahead and got that corrected. They're probably still going to continue with the value because that 578 is about there's 400, something that it was last year, but I wanted to at least knock it down from the year. Okay.
Question about that, and this may be for Stevie. Does our system have any kind of range checking, value checking that would have caught something like that in any kind of circumstance?
No. And I'm not sure on that particular one, no. Okay. On some OBYs, I know the system has it where if it's not a certain size, it won't let us put it in. But on this, with it being, I think this is a site improvement, there is no way. Maybe to see if we get something to do that. Yes, that would be great. Okay. Thanks. On page 7, we're going to look at some, page 7 through 23, we're going to look at administrative changes and corrections that we made. And you can see the very first one is a large one, but it was a 2021 299C value. It did not have to roll over from the system, but the 299C value we have to honor. So it was 21, 22, and 20. So they noted that. I believe they called you, Joe, and we got that corrected right away. They didn't file an appeal until it was paid. Okay. The next one is just they recorded the deed late, so we got their title changed. On number 3, parcel 87256. It is that also goes along on page 13. Second parcel is number 50 towards the bottom. The acreage changed on both of these. Some acreage went from one parcel to the other. And so this one was increased from 1.77 acres to 2.227 plus or minus. So the increase in value of about $20,000. And then the second parcel on page 13 was reduced, and it was reduced by about 15,000. Out of that, we actually gained a little bit. Yes. Or they actually changed the increase rate. Okay, on number 4, it is a night. The taxpayer called about their ownership of this particular. It's a tiny little strip, as you can see, at $1,800. And we corrected the ownership going back to 2021. So if you look on page 19, it's sitting there by its lonesome. That is in 2022. And page 22, for 2021, also by itself. This is corrected the ownership. And value is equal to 1,700 actually 20. The next one, number 5, parcel 903-1828. There was the value was corrected in 2022. I believe that the rate was corrected. I'm not sure. I'm looking at Joe. Yeah, from 2022, and it should be corrected in 2023. It's not. Did they call you about it? He came in. Oh, he came in about it. So we corrected it for 2023. On the next few pages, and we're going to go one by one, are mostly corrections in homestead. We corrected the homestead base value. We approved some homestead because the docs were provided, and we removed some homesteads on the property that we should not have. So page 8, Page 9. And at the bottom of 10, after each correction, no change in value. Ownership correction. On page 11, is also the same. It's an ownership correction on number 36 for Cat's Ferry. Page 12 at the top, parcel 531598 was, she came in talking about her homestead or her value, and then when she told me her purchase price, I said, oh, you brought it in 22, and it was a valid sale, and per law, Senate Bill 346, you cannot be higher than the prior year purchase price. So we corrected it to the prior year purchase price, but also had to remove her homestead because she didn't apply. It was the prior owner's homestead that was still on there. So it was like, I can lower your value, but I'm gonna have to take that. Yes, it was much. Because of that. Page 13 is the same, the homestead, base is corrected on the removed, and the number 50 we already spoke about. And page 14, the same as homestead, you go through, remove on the base recount. On page 15 at the top, the same with this one. They paid $339,400 in 2022, so we reduced the value to the, we set it to the person. Right? I did not have it. I don't think he had applied. No, I'm not sure. Okay, on 61, 62, 63, 64, and the next page on 66, all 5 of these go together. And Lynn is going to speak about those 5. And they are also in 2022 on pages 20 and 21. So I'm going to let Lynn speak about those 5 parcels.
Okay, these parcels were involved in a reconfiguration. In 2021, there was a deed and a survey that was filed with the meets and bounds that were correct. However, there was no egress or ingress for this property. So between the correspondence with Phil and this homeowner, it took about a year to get that, and then this was a result of being able to get the ingress and egress. So what they did, they reverted back. They finally got the final done in April 2023, but they referred back to the old meets and bounds of the 21 deed and survey. So we were able to go back to 2022 and correct the records, and as well as bring it forward and correct records for 2023. So if you go on page for 2022, the result of the reconfiguration, it consisted of 5 parcels. On page 20, line 8, 9, and 10, and 21, 11, and 13. Back to 20, if you look at parcel 10 was actually 9.20 acres, and it is now 5 acres. So you'll see the value change from 236,542 to 187,200. On parcel 11, it was 9.99 acres, and it was changed to 4.74 acres. That value went from 65,600 to 36,900. Parcel 12 was 10.91 acres, and it went to 4.63 acres. The value changed from 132.5 to 104,100. And parcel 16, which happens to be the new owners of another that subdivision I was talking about, that was this property owner was affected by this neighborhood that had the reconfiguration. So the neighborhood that had the reconfiguration is the new owner of parcel 16. So that's why you see that odd 0.61 acres that went to 19.99. That was part of combining it with something else. So that value was at 16,400 and it went to 351,100. On parcel 187,254, that was 10.38 acres and it went to 4.32 acres. The value changed from 279,600 to 238,700. If you go back to page 15, that's for the tax year of 2023. And those changes, of course, you'll see that on line 61, the value went from 290,100 to 255,100, and that was from 9 acres to 5. The value on parcel 11, 91,9 to 51,7, that was 9.99 acres to 4.74 acres. Parcel 12, 172,300 to 134, that was 10.91 acres. It went to 4.63, and then 166,256 the new owner, the reconfiguration, the 0.61 acres at 23,000. It went to 19.99 acres at 491,600. And the last parcel is 187,254. You'll see the value change from 358,100 to 322,200. And that was a result of from 10 acres to 4 acres. So that's pretty much it.
Thank you, Lynn, for your hard work on that when you and Austin got that one together. Thank you.
Question, they followed all the numbers perfectly. Did it all net out?
It did not. We gained 2 acres from it. We started it out with, let's see, we started out with 38.72 acres and we ended up with 41.09 when it was all said and done. Huh? Oh yeah, value increase.
Thank you. For how you did it.
Yes, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, 'cause you can see the per acre, look like the value per acre increase over time.
Right.
Okay. A lot of work on that. Thank you.
Yeah, very much so. Thank you.
Page 16, pretty much the same with the homestead removal approvals and corrected data, but on number 68, parcel 19325B12. Owner called about their improvement on the property. It turns out that there was an error with parcel 19325B12. The improvement from parcel C12 was put onto this particular parcel by mistake, and yeah, we know we can catch that other than the homeowner did catch it for us. But so I read the data on this particular property back to what it should have been, and it was a reduction in value on this one. That was just there on that one. Okay.
Did that do anything for C12?
No, they were right. They're the same improvement on both of the parcels. They weren't even next to each other. And it was a mistake in the C and the B when it was typed in, when the person advanced copied up. Okay. Page 17 is the same with some deed corrections, homestead removal approval, no changes in values in 17. And the same on page 8. It ended up with 2023 changes. On page 19, we already discussed that one. On page 20, the first one, number 4, 45.5226, we approved him for his veterans last week for 2023. I put him in for 2022. So he was approved even back one year. We already spoke about the ones at the bottom of 20, and we just talked about the ones on 21 already. Page 22, we've already gone over. And page 20 was a deed correction. Actually, last week on this one, we corrected it for 23, 22, and 21. There was one more year that we Austin was doing his change of title, and this ownership needed to show the proper change of title. So that was corrected. That is all the administrative changes for this week. But I want to note that with the homesteads and processing them in the system and trying to get everything done properly, the changes or the errors, issues that we've been having. I spoke with Tyler. I spoke with Julie Elder, who I met in Texas when I was at the conference, and we're setting up a meeting with our homestead people and a few people here. I spoke with the ladies down in the tax commissioner's office, and we're trying to set up a meeting where we can get help or guidance step by step in the process of getting the homesteads processing the system. So we need to stop having as many errors as we have we go back. And I literally have been correcting this. Trying to make sure that we're doing it. So she is trying to get that meeting set up for us with the leadership downstairs in the tax commissioner's office, so that we can all be on the same accordance and that we can get this right first. Instead of having to go back and do correction. And
Like the written protocol for step by step.
and having a person that we can email, because it's hard to convey information or ask questions via email because they might ignore one part of it. And so we need to, it's going to be via things like this right here, but at least when we go step by step, we can ask them a question, ask what's going on, and why is this doing that, if we change something here and there. And I even start speaking with Austin with some other issues they have with that. So we're trying to make sure people don't keep calling and pointing out errors and just trying to get it right, as it should be. So I just wanted to convey that to you. I think it was some concern last week in the meeting about making sure that we get it right. So we're trying to get that together. Hopefully she'll get that with me by today as to getting that set up.
Just also ask them if there are resources we can pick up the phone and have a conversation with versus email.
Well, see, we have to go through the support channels where you have to put in the case number and all of that. Then they assign somebody to us, and that person gets back to us. And it's usually just that is what we want, someone to speak to us so that we can ask the questions that we need.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
And what would you say is, generally speaking, the biggest point of failure in that process?
It is just trying to understand the steps in the process. What do we need? I mean, we can have a sheet that gives us step by step, but sometimes we don't understand what needs to be in the system in order to make this outcome. What do we need to put here in order to get this? So that's why I want to have that particular meeting to see if everybody has a question that they can get answered right away.
Yes.
Yes, and I think that'll work, but maybe let's try this. And that's what we've been doing a little bit. So we're just trying to make sure that we'll do it. Any other questions about the corrections or changes?
I would entertain a motion to approve the real property benefits just to go.
Make a motion for the property that I just paid this as noted for 23, 22, 21, and I think that one is for 20. Extension.
Okay.
Motion second, any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's fine.
Yeah. All right.
No, I'm one of the dealers.
Hey,
You bet all of it.
okay. We'll do.
Good. Next on the agenda is commercial property management. Morning. Yeah.
Great.
Okay, the first one we have, all three of these are current court bills that we have ongoing. First agreement was 541-1826. The BOE had put it at 189. That was no change from the original assessment of value. So we ended up agreeing 168, 11%. That was based on the field check and condition issues. The next one is the building and lot on Bond Street. this one that we have ongoing, court right now. We're agreeing with the 279.5, which was the, VOE value. So I recommend withdrawing that from the court, from Superior Court right now. And the last one is another building at Bay Church Street in Courthouse Square. The BOE had put 705 on it. We filled that one. We couldn't agree on the value of it. We offered 800,000, and the owner refused that number. And that was after we made a field check and did the maintenance and everything that it needed. So I believe the original value was like 1.6 or 1.3. So that's where we're at on those three. So we're still at the court level that with no side of the agreement.
Put this on there, so we're saying for that number one, number three, to maintain and continue with the court process in those two, and then the 1, 2, withdraw that case.
Number one, we're settling at that one, that's okay, for 168. Number two, we're all in that, for number three.
Yes, just one.
Yeah. Yeah. That's it.
I would entertain a motion to approve these recommendations.
Make a motion that we approve the commercial property digest recommendation instead notice. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor? It's in the book. Okay, on the agenda is food estates.
I have three on the agenda today. These they weren't appealed, they were just filed in lieu of appeal, because you can file during the appeal period for CUBA. So all three of these were done in that manner. The first one, 582527, this was a new application. It's the house in 30.48 acres on Pool Road. I recommend approval on this one. They are breeding gypsy, I'm sure I'm saying this right, gypsy banner horses. Just to give you a little history on this, I had did a field check on it, and they are present on the property. And they are breeding these type of horses. They raise and sell the young stock. They do have a stallion and a brood mare on the site, and they have a recipient male who can carry inbreds if need, embryos if needed, not inbreds. They do have a farm name of Country Day Farm, so they have a website that advertises that they do the breeding there. So it's not a hobby horse farm, it's more or less a production farm. I recommend approval on that one. The second one, 2025111. This is a renewal of wildlife. It's a base of 13.21 acres. This is some wetlands out on Man Road, with waterfall branch that runs through these wetlands. And of course, you know, that draws all types of wildlife into that area. So I recommend approval on that. The last one I have is 186351. This was a new application under timber. It's a house in 198.48 acres on Hannah Road. Couldn't get past the ownership on this one. I'm going to recommend a denial. The husband, he is a U.S. citizen. However, the wife is a citizen of China and is not of the United States. And I had consulted Meredith on this, and I'd like for her to give her opinion and question.
I know at first they requested information from the Department of Revenue, and also looking at the statute requires that the owner be a natural or naturalized citizen, among other requirements. This isn't a trust or a family-owned farm entity, so the only provision that would fit into is that they have to be a natural or naturalized citizen. And that's not the case here for one of the owners, because we always require that all of the owners have to meet all of the requirements. So in this case, the wife does not meet the requirements of ownership, so it has to be denied.
Anything like to these recommendations that you're
Make a motion that we approve the status recommendations.
should we say discussion? All in favor, say aye. Move to pass.
Very much.
We got any business to discuss?
No one finished it.
Exit, keep a favor.
Morning again. Just wanted to update the board on current appeal status. We have, the main 16 appeals. We had a little over 800 online this year. And currently we are showing the others about 8. So we have roughly 1,600 appeals. We are at the end of the first appeal period, the main appeal period, which just ended on August 7th. And corrected, so, which is going to end up. So the way it's looking now, we should have more or less the same appeal outcome as the way it's looking now. And which is a good thing. So I think with all of the increases, we're still looking at a reasonable percentage of appeals of staff, and I just want to update the board that we have lots of staff as well in the department. So we just have one separate resignation, and we have a board of it that have to move from here for the department as a result of better thing. So we did something very timely and put in the letter in. Hoping we get some good feedback from our HR and this and on this current project. And that's pretty much it for update.
Question about the parking thing. Is it reports the department? And I'm assuming it would be by the department, another local department in the county. I guess there's nothing that prevents that.
They got came from another department. Yeah, we did it because it's easier than to have someone coming in. It's a lot more orientation, etc., etc. So they're not in the south. Yeah. Any other questions? The way it is. Yeah. It's an easier process than trying to get a transfer in to the environment.
Transfer.
There you go. Yeah.
Transfer, like you said, it's much easier.
Yeah.
Pretty much seamless.
Yeah. And you can start right away. You don't really have an ID. Yeah. You need to do better maintain train to be a great one. We have days and then the glasses, put them a bit on nails, and then we do that.
And I'm assuming it's the differential in any department that has those.
I didn't correct. Yeah. Yeah. That is correct. So that's it from my desk. Our letter went out, and we may need on the board itself. So the board, we could convene a meeting with the proposal that we'll see what of things.
Yeah, I would be good, man. I'd be kind of good idea. That would not, I might be
Well, all right.
not our vice chair. Gotta keep pushing, gotta keep trying. Well, I guess our next order of business would be to set the meeting, meeting. August the 23rd, August 24th, August 24th is better. But the 30th.
Yeah, Thursday,
It's August 24th, cards.
Yeah, just agree on that.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what the, you can take us all offline.